Yep.
Oh shit, that's enabled auto start. Oh well, it's the podcast is live.
Okay.
Wait, do this. I can do this. I can do this. I can do this. Okay. Hmm. I didn't even take my customary tap calf. Oh, you can see the bottle I was going for there. Never mind. This is. I need a mini fridge again. Going to
Yeah.
be a nice part of having an office back. Before I do the intro, as you can probably tell,
I was gonna mention
I
that.
am not. I'm not downstairs right now. I'm upstairs. I'm shoved into a bedroom, not of my own making.
Hmm. As the work begins, correct?
Mhm.
Hmm.
First to make a podcast I will never listen to. Hmm.
Arguably, no one will ever listen to.
That's not true.
No,
People will
there's some.
listen. Someone will
Yeah,
listen.
there's some people.
There's people. All right, hello there, and welcome to another edition of Tapcalf Transmissions. I am Corey, joined as always by one special. Who's that?
Who?
It's
Is Ilkin
you.
back? Oh, it's me. Okay. Nice. Nice. Thanks for the reassuring message to start the podcast. I appreciate that.
What's your name?
Justin.
Justin. Is it just Justin, or do you have another online moniker associated with a symbol that is now a little sus?
Oh, I thought you meant yeah, no. Justin from the YouTube channel Eckhartsladder, not associated with the Department of Governmental Efficiency. Unfortunately. Or
Yeah,
fortunately, we're not. Unfortunate that I've got to make that connection clear.
yes. Well, this is a Star Wars podcast talking about all the latest Star Wars there is to talk about. This week, our topic is going to be Legacy issues 8 through 13. We've talked about the Broken arc before. That was a couple months ago now, though.
Mm.
So tonight it is Trust issues and Ghosts, or Ghosts and Trust issues, whichever order they really come in. I think it's the other way around.
Yeah,
But
it
yeah,
is.
so it's been a few months off of the Legacy, a few months off of the comics. Up until like 2 days ago, I'd forgotten that we had actually started Legacy because I think on the last episode I said, "Are we even doing comics right
Yeah,
now?"
yeah.
And it turns out we are.
We are, yeah, we are. We're into a very different era of Star Wars. We've got a young, hip, cool Skywalker with a drug addiction problem.
Is Cade
Um,
cool?
they think he is, but
Who's
he's not.
they?
The people making the comic,
Okay.
yeah, they think he's cool, uh,
Was he
but he's
cool in
not.
2006 or 2008?
He might have been cool
2006.
in 2000.
2006.
He might have been cool in 2006.
I think we spent most of the last episode of Legacy talking about this as well. Uh,
Yeah, we also get his shockingly hot mom in this one. And do you know the spoiler about his mom or
uh,
her hidden
Probably
identity? Her hidden identity?
that she's an Imperial spy and also his mom.
Yeah. Well, that she's sort of two different people.
I didn't know there was another identity beyond what we. I I
You
don't
want me
know.
to spoil it?
Maybe not because we get in trouble for spoiling books, and like this is something that I don't know. Apparently, that I'll find out later. So don't
Well,
spoil it
I
for me.
maybe it revealed it in the comics so far. I'm not sure.
No, this is the first time we've seen Morrigan at all.
Okay. Okay.
So technically, we we're doing Ghost and Trust issues, which are technically 9, 10, and 11 and 12, and 13 is like a different thing. 8's a different thing. But I read 8 and 13. I think you read 13, not 8. But we
Yeah.
do kind of open up. There's nothing that you really miss out of the arc. It's just kind of the backstory of how Emperor Fell survived, and you get a lot more about Nina Calixt, Moff Calixt, Moff Nina, as I'll call her, just so I don't have to mispronounce her name. And it's kind of the relationship between her and Grand Admiral Morlish Veed, how they thought they'd get one over on the Sith, and they thought that Veed would be installed as the Emperor if they worked with the Sith and got rid of Rowan Fell. Turns out,
Surprise.
no.
Yeah, we're in an interesting time period because we've got like three bad guy factions because we've got the Sith Empire. Within the Sith Empire there's the Sith part and then there's the old Imperial part.
Hmm.
Like Moff Calixed. Then we have like the Empire in Exile, which is like Roan Fell as well. So a lot of what we're getting right now from the bad guy side is like, okay, we're trying to like the first scene, for example, it's a Sith basically torturing a Bothan, and then she's bossing around. She's been put into sort of the command structure ahead of a Moff. So they're kind of having to deal with that, which I think is kind of interesting, actually.
Yeah, but like I'm still on the whole, like, how does anyone think that the Fell Empire were the good guys even before this? Like,
Yeah.
every single person in this faction, other than the Imperial Knights, seems to really fucking suck. And even with Rowan Fell, uh, it's not like, oh, we should be working for the good of the Empire. When he's talking to Moff Calix in one of them, he's like, no, you're supposed to listen to me. This is supposed to be about me. And
Yeah, and they're like, oh, listen, Roan Fell got tricked into fighting the GA. Like, I don't think he had to get. I don't think he was tricked that much.
well, he wanted victory without war.
Yeah, yeah, crazy tariffs.
He still wanted to manifest that destiny, but
He wanted the Outer Rim to become the 51st state.
soon. Does
I
the
will
Outer Rim
say,
get to vote in that situation, or are they just turned into like some kind of dependency? What does our future look like?
yeah, that's the thing. All these Twitter people, they're like, oh, Canada will never be the 51st state. That would add a bunch of liberals. Like, I don't think we're gonna get the vote in this scenario.
Yeah, if you're annexing us because you want to have some weird fake border concerns, and it sounds like we're not getting any citizenship rights here, but
Yeah,
that's I don't know. But
I
yeah,
watched one of Trump's press conferences today. I put it in the group chat, and
why?
it was a particularly like fashy one where he's like it was like about how the golden era has come and but he is just sounds like his script writers went like really crazy writing this like manifest destiny basically script, but he is just so fucking bored reading it in like he cannot just read something. I'm sorry, we're getting off topic. He cannot just read something without freestyling a little bit. He's like, the time to grab power is ours. Other countries, even our old enemies, they're calling me. They're saying, Donald, the time to grab power is now. So, like
Jesus
that's almost
fucking
exactly it.
Christ.
Yeah.
Uh,
Sorry.
yeah, so we had in issue 8 they also have a bit more about the Yuzon Vong involvement in
Mm,
the Ossus project. But it's kind
right.
of just explaining stuff. Like, it's not a flashback to stuff happening. It's a flashback to these characters standing around and explaining the stuff again. So I don't know that you really missed too much by not
Yeah.
reading it. You get to see more of Rowan Fell as a character, which, I mean, his stock in my eyes kind of fell with that. Like,
Hmm.
I don't think he comes off especially great either. But we see more. I think the big winner in episode 8, or not episode 8, in issue 8, other than Nina and Veed, is Darth Malady. You get more of the Sith doing stuff who aren't just Darth Krayt himself.
Hmm.
So there's a few pages where it just seems like they didn't want to draw anything though. There's like big white backgrounds, but yeah.
There were a few pages in this one where it was like they clearly didn't want to write dialogue, like that shootout scene between the scripts and the
Hmm.
I don't know why I said scripts. I was reading the chat between the Sith agent and the Imperial agent.
Hmm.
I was just like, yeah, they did not feel like writing, so just have a long shootout for a couple pages.
Look, you need some action in there.
Yeah,
But
you do. I guess you do.
we do get the reveal in issue 8 that one of the Imperial Knights is Morgan Fell. So there's more descendants of Jaina and Jag. Because I don't think he'd been revealed as a Fell yet. Maybe he
I don't think so.
was. Maybe, but Either way, he's there still.
So I gotta say, the setup for this mission was really dumb. So they go to the wheel, which is a place we've been a few times now in our reading club, and the idea is you can go to the wheel and it's a no gun zone, which is nice, and you can kind of bargain anonymously. So it's a place where they can get together and just chill. Except they each take large star destroyers or like capital ships to the meetup.
Yeah,
Like, yeah, they're not very sneaky about it at
yeah.
all.
So we're getting this meetup between Admiral Garstasi of the Galactic Alliance Remnant
Hmm.
and what's his name? Bovark.
Yeah.
The what species is he's not human,
Um.
and he's like the first highly ranked Nimbanel. He's like the
Yeah.
first highly ranked Imperial we've seen who's not human in this period. But even then, he's only a captain, so he's not that highly ranked. Uh,
Unlike Garstasi, who's the supreme commander, I think,
yes,
and he's a Duro.
he's the leader. And there's actually
Yeah.
a mention in this of the Galactic Alliance Triumvirate as being like the leadership of the Galactic Alliance before this point as well. So I'm not
Oh.
sure
Well, I
if
always thought it was called the Triumvirate because it was the GA, the Empire, and the Jedi.
yeah, that's what gets reformed by the end of it. But I guess going into the war, or at the end of the war at least, there was a
Hmm.
triumvirate leading the Galactic Alliance already. So I don't know if that's
Yeah.
the similar situation of like Supreme Commander, uh, Supreme Chancellor, or Chief of State,
Mhm.
and like I don't know Jedi like Cole, the same way that
Yeah.
like Kakruk was on the next one.
Yeah.
So maybe it's like a wartime
I
thing, or
didn't
maybe
catch
it
that.
continued on from earlier, or got
Hmm.
reinstated from earlier.
Yeah, I didn't catch that.
But Garstazzi is not having any of Bovark's shit. He's like, we're gonna be fighting over the same scraps, and what do you
Yeah.
have to offer me, anyways?
He's like, well, I got Bastion.
Oh, I'm interested.
Yeah. Which I don't know. I'm guessing we're going to see an attack on Bastion sooner rather than later, but I'm not sure I understand. Like, I don't know. Like, he took Bastion. It wasn't that difficult for him to take it. So
Well, it was just that everyone there was more loyal to him still, so he didn't really
yeah,
have to do much to take it. He just had to sneak in with Antares and
yeah,
uh, Ganner.
yeah, yeah. Another Ganner. That's wild.
Well, they really go hard. Like, there's so many things that just get shoved in as like name references, especially
Mhm.
where uh, one of the one of the Yuzon Vong warriors was like,
It was
uh,
a Yim, wasn't she? A Yim
no,
or no?
she was Rin. She wasn't. I don't think her name was the same as any major characters in
Oh, he's the same
NJO.
as what's his name from Duro, right?
It was like Choka Karsh or something.
Oh, okay.
Where it's like it's just a combination of every Yuzon Vong name we'd already heard, rather like
I'm just trying to scroll through, and all I just keep seeing is Cade's mom's rack.
I think it's before then or after then.
After that, yeah. I'm in the wrong issue.
Yeah, use on Vong on Ossus, fight or die, Cade, blah, blah, blah. All right, going to the next one. I really dislike, so the covers of issue 11 and
Oh
12,
my god.
like the CG, the kind of computer
Yeah.
generated thing where it's not quite Uncanny Valley, but definitely not Good Valley. It reminds me of like reboot graphics.
That's exactly what I tweeted a picture and I said reboot ass comic cover.
Okay, the Yuzon Vong Warrior's name was Chaka Skell, which is like Nash Choka's last name and Yug Skell's
Mhm.
last name, like
Yeah.
the War Master and the High Intendant. And it's like,
Well, the other one, yeah, and the other one's a law. The other one's a law.
yeah,
Yeah.
like, but at least Leon, I think, is not just two last names put together. But like
It was,
that's like naming a
yeah,
Yuzon Vong Smith Johnson.
fair enough.
Kind of racist.
Always pleasant to see the Yuuzhan Vong. Uh, we get an immediate slant head drop, like just racial slur right away.
Did you say slant head or scar head?
He said slant head,
Oh, is
which they do have. I get like they've got prominent brows, so their head does kind of slant.
Yeah, I
They've
don't know
got
if slant head or
Macalibur.
scar head is worse. Like, have we made progress in galactic slurs? Is this more tame?
I'm just looking at the pictures in issue 12. The heads are fairly slanted.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's why Kakruk jumps down uh after Cade drops the S slur. It's like,
Mhm.
he's right, you know.
Whoa, 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 whoa!
They are quite slant.
Some of them aren't scarred anymore because, like, that's one thing that I was kind of curious about. Like, how are the Vong going to be different at this point? They're still
Mhm.
obviously wearing. Well, one's wearing Von Dune crab armor. He's got his amphi staff, but they also seem to still be mutilating themselves. Although, or no, wait, do the Yushan Vong? I guess that's just what their nose is like, isn't it?
I think so, but like I don't know if the eyes on the
One
one
of
of
them
them
has
is supposed to
lips
be
cut away too. So I guess they're still mutilating themselves, and she also makes reference directly to one
the
of her gods.
gods. Yeah.
So obviously, obviously, atheism is not. I mean, it might be prominent in Yuuzhan Vong, but not everyone. Uh, she still believes in the gods.
I don't know. I kind of like the idea that the reformation of the Yuzon Vong wasn't just like full assimilation of the ones who were,
Yeah, no, I agree.
because they still, I guess like they're not supposed to have the weapons anymore. Like there's even reference to the fact that like the thud bugs are illegal,
Hmm.
even though Sin uses some, and
Yeah.
these guys obviously have their weapons. So it might just be like some part of them going to Ossus and working with the Jedi. They're allowed to be rearmed.
Well, they've
But
also got a coral skipper too, which is you'd
yeah,
think that'd be a big no-no.
well, we don't know if that's armed, do we? It might just be like
They
a
just,
living
I feel
ship.
like they don't want. I feel like people don't want the Vong traveling around the galaxy. Period.
Well, that's
Like,
kind of the underlying story, right? That the
yeah.
no like the reason the reason the Sith were able to take power was because they were able to play on this galactic prejudice against this group of refugees.
Yeah, it's crazy. They wanted the Yuuzhan Vong in Galactic Sports,
They wanted Zone Embassy to be the 51st state.
the newest deep core planet.
I mean, it could have just stayed in the Coruscant system, and yet
Yeah, well, they said that it's
farther into the
boogied on to
unknown.
the unknown regions.
Yeah.
I respect it. Any fighting starts immediately. No, just
No.
gone. Yeah, I'm good.
Well, my sister and I, if our parents were arguing, we'd be like, "Oh, we're gonna go to the park," and
Yeah,
then we just leave, and that started a lifelong conflict avoidance style for us.
very healthy. Very healthy.
But we kind of jumped ahead to the ghost issue, so we'll go back to issue 9, which
Yeah,
is primarily like we open up with the Bothan Jedi. Bothan was he a Jedi? Yeah, he was.
yeah, he was.
Australis is a Jedi, uh, not just a random force using healer, and he's getting interrogated by Darth Malady, and they do end up getting some information out of him.
Yeah, he cracks like immediately.
He says no twice, and then he says okay.
Yeah.
But he doesn't have up to date information because he rats out Jariah Sin and uh,
Well,
Delia Blue
yeah.
and Rav. So I guess that's how he finds him because everyone knows where Rav is. Apparently, it's not just a list of other people's names,
Mhm.
but that's also where we get into the wheel meeting. So
I thought
we
he
kind
looked
of
like
got
a
the
Rin too. By the way, I just want to say.
he looked like a Rin, the
I thought he
Bothan.
kind of looked like a Rin. Yeah.
Really? No.
I know. I know he's supposed to be a Bothan, but like the way his hair is, it just he reminds me of
Mm,
a Rin.
I guess with the
Because it looks like
just the
he's got
hair.
less. So like in the at first it looks like he's got just like you do see later he's when she pulls his beard he's got like a snout, but in the first pictures it just looks like he's got a human face with a beard.
Yeah, I don't know. He looks fairly horseish to me.
Okay.
Bothans never look the same though, so you never
Yeah,
know what kind of
Boston's.
Bothan you're looking
Yeah,
at.
I still don't think we've gotten one in canon yet. An image. I'm not sure, but I
No,
don't think so.
they're not even necessarily a species yet in Canada, are they? Have they even been mentioned
No,
as a species?
I don't think so. You're right. Technically, they could be anything.
Just like Mon Mothma's little crew of spies, the Bothans.
Yeah.
We don't know, which is
Oh
kind of
my
insane.
my book for Reign of the Empire came today.
Nice.
I'm excited to read it.
Mine
And I
came
started
yesterday,
listening
so
to have you started what's it called yet?
I have not.
Lost Stars? No.
Lost Stars. Because Lost Stars will be our next episode.
Hmm. I feel like it's a not super long, but it's a decently long book.
It's YA, right? So
It is YA, but like my audiobook's 12 hours. So that's pretty long. Probably
oh
300
shit,
pages.
551 pages.
Oh.
That is quite long. Are you serious? That's very long.
Okay, that must be with big text though. Cuz like looking at my other Star Wars audiobooks, like I'll just give you a comparison. So Lost Stars is like 11 hours. Dark Lord is 11 hours. Star Wars Battle Scars. Death Troopers is like 6 hours. It's decently long though. Yeah. I Jedi's 20. Outbound Flight 17.
Maybe it's more abridged somehow. I don't know. It's one of the ones I still have my physical copy out for my move upstairs, so I'll be able to see soon. But
One thing that's
anyways,
nice about these new one thing that's nice about these new Legends releases is they are automatically upgrading the old audiobooks. So like I had the Outbound Flight audiobook, which was abridged, and now I've got the I think that's one of the ones they've re-released. Maybe not.
I think it's
But
everything but Republic Commando that got new audiobooks.
yeah, so they've just been automatically giving you the new version, which is nice. Yeah.
Yeah. Someday I'll listen to an audiobook. Maybe I'll listen to an audiobook this week. If it
You should.
changes my experience. I've never listened to
Yeah,
an audiobook before
you should. It's the audiobook for this book is pretty good.
for Lost
Lost
Stars.
Stars. Yeah.
Okay, maybe I'll give it a try.
Yeah, you should.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
the last part of issue 9 is there is a meeting between Antares Draco, Ganner, and Emperor Fel, who kind of reams him out for going to save Marasia in the prior issues.
Hmm.
And their punishment is that they're going to get a medal because he doesn't want people to know they didn't listen to him. So it's a good solution, I think. I thought he was like pulling a Dumbledore, where it's like, oh, you were told not to do this, but instead, fuck
He's
this
not
little
doing that at
boy.
all. I thought that too, but he's straight up like, no, you guys messed up, and I hope you die.
I will be sending you on suicide mission after suicide mission until you're dead.
Yeah, like again, Ronfell, he's not a super nice dude. He's got like a bejeweled collar. Like I don't get good vibes from him.
He really isn't that great. I was
No.
expecting more of a moral grayness to him, at least coming into it. But like, sure, the Imperial Knights don't use the dark side, but he uses the fucking dick side all the time.
Yeah, and well, he's got cool hair, which I guess counts for a lot.
Especially at his age.
Yeah, got that nice gray streak in it. Oof.
Do we
He's
know?
he's kind of he's a bit swagged out. I'll say that.
Like, Marasia is what? Probably 25? So he's
Yeah,
probably 50 or 60. He looks like he's probably 65 in Star Wars years, right?
yeah. He's had some good back to treatments and stuff, but
So he was born in like 70 ABY. So like 30
I'm
years,
so
25
old.
years uh after the end of like Fate of the
Yeah,
Jedi, Millennium Falcon or
Crucible.
Crucible. So he's probably like there's a decent chance he's only one generation removed from Jaina and
Yeah,
Jag, right?
well, he might be two, but because Jaina and Jag would be like 30,
Yeah.
at that point, and you said he's what 30 years at a Crucible, so he'd be like their grandchild.
Yeah, at at best, like at worst.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
but if he is slightly older and they waited slightly longer to have kids, because like that happens a lot.
Hmm.
Like Han was probably 40, 45
Don't
when
look
they,
into that too much. It
yeah,
makes you feel weird. I remember that when we were reading the canon Han and Leia story.
the age gap between Han and Leia.
Yeah, I was like,
No.
oh, this guy's kind of creepy. This dude's kind of creepy.
Mm-hmm. Han and Chewie right before Ben finds him was we're hanging outside the Mos Eisley High School.
Where's the party tonight, guys? Come on, and get some ale, some Krellian ale.
I have an ID. It's fake.
That's what I, that's what I love about younglings. I keep getting
Jesus
older.
Christ. Okay, so issue 10, we end up. Oh, I guess issue 9 also has Morrigan capturing Torlin.
Yeah.
So Morrigan is getting sent uh, by the I don't want to say Imperial loyalists because they're not. They're like the second tier, like the intermediates between Rowan's Imperial loyalists and the Imperial loyalists in the Sith that want to be
Well, I
their
think
own
they're
empire.
they're really just self-serving.
Yeah, like the Sith aligned Imperial loyalists who want to be the Emperor
Yeah.
instead of Crate. But she's sent to find the guy who was sent to find Cade by the Sith because he's just not good enough to be a Sith himself. He got trained on Korriban. Good for
Yeah,
him.
he's basically the Agricore guy, and
Yeah,
she lets him know.
man. Imagine being Sith Agricore. That's gotta suck.
Can you okay, can you go to issue 9 and scroll down or open your physical copy because I know you have one
Oh yeah,
to
that's
the
what I'm
one
doing.
to the it's like two down where it starts with a Morgan Cord Imperial Agent.
Like,
That panel or that page,
okay, issue
like the second page.
9.
Oh, sorry, 10, 10, 10, 10, 10. Sorry, the
Okay,
one we're
issue
on.
10. Okay, okay, okay.
Yeah, it's like the second page.
Yeah,
What the fuck is going on with her hand there? Is it supposed to be? Is that supposed to be her other hand wrapped
that's her
around? Is that
other
what's
hand
going on?
wrapped around
Okay.
it.
Okay. Yeah.
She's double
Okay.
gripping it. It's not
Okay.
like
It's like fucking
bending
advanced AI
around her
in
head. No.
2006. Okay. I guess
So
she just got a gun. Like that's just a gun. It's got like a spot to eject shells. It's just like straight up just a gun.
yeah, that's every guy. Like one of my most commented on videos is like one of the politics of the CIS videos, and I think over half the comments are just like from 20 seconds in the video, everyone commenting, "That's just a P90." It's like, yeah, welcome to Star Wars.
Yeah, I was kind of surprised by that like controversy when the Andor stuff came around. I
Yeah,
think like a lot of it is that like the guns usually are like World War One and Two weapons, so people don't like recognize it as much. But like a lot of the times, they really are just guns. Like sometimes they got doohickeys on them, but like not always.
yeah. Like there are a lot that are just like straight up the gun.
Yeah, yeah.
It's just the way Star Wars
Which
be.
yeah, that's OT aesthetics, and that's why the prequels felt so different. Because like, hey, that's not just gun. That's Royal Laser Blaster. Cool.
But then you have the what was the Game Gear, whatever the razor that Qui
Oh yeah.
Gon used as his comm.
Oh yeah, he's got the razor, and then in Watto's shop, there's hanging. It's like one of those little scoopers that you throw balls with.
Mm-hmm. Those
Yeah,
are
and
fun. I
then
should get
well,
one of those.
yeah, I haven't seen one of those since elementary school, so I don't know if they still make those.
They must. It's just in our life stage. Do we come across that much? Like your kids are probably seeing them all the time at school.
Well, I even looked when I was at. Well, yeah, they must, but
Look, when
and
I
then
was
yeah,
going through the
Anakin has
gym
like
equipment.
yeah, and then Anakin has like the Game Gear in in episode 3 when he's
Yeah.
sitting on the couch. So did I ever tell you the thing I found in that scene where like,
No.
so you know how he's holding the Game Gear and then
Yeah.
he puts it down?
Hmm.
So George Lucas, next time you're watching that scene, it's edited. So obviously, so the way it is in the movie, he looks at it, he puts it down near his waist, and then he drops it. That movement of the Game Gear down from his in front of his face down to his waist is clearly edited. Like George took his arm and
Yeah.
repositioned it
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
that because I don't know. Like
Yeah.
that's just like one thing I've heard so much about the prequels is like he could have done another take, and for that thing he may have even known that he wanted another take, but it was good enough,
For
and
sure.
half
Oh,
the scene was just made up blue screen anyway. That we'll fix it later. Get
just
the nerds to fix it.
break Hayden's arm. Just
But when you
break
notice it, yeah, it's just like whoop.
it.
I do like how in issue 10, like Gar Stasi just immediately pulls that fucking thing out and tries to
Mhm.
stab the tries to stab the Imperial.
Well, I like it's very much highlighting nobody's armed on the wheel.
Everyone is armed
Meanwhile,
on the wheel.
everyone's armed on the wheel.
Yeah.
But most of issue 10 is just the buddy cop episode between Morrigan and uh
Mm.
Orlin going to find Cade. We have the
Like
tracking
that
of
episode of Mando
Garstazi.
season 1.
Was that?
Like that episode of Mando season 1.
Mm-hmm. But uh everyone's like 10% more scantily clad.
Yeah. Well, considering Mando wears a full thing of armor, and we're like at nipple level with a mom. I think it's more than 10%, but I get you.
Yeah. I mean, at least they're is it better that it's not just like they're equal opportunity throughout ages for objectifying women? Is that better? Is that praxis or is that just gross? I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. Don't worry, we'll get Mara soon.
True. So we have them going through. She ends up killing Torlin when he inevitably tries to kill her again. Uh, but that's when we get the reveal that Morrigan is in fact Cade's mom,
Yeah.
and she is still alive, unlike
Yeah.
some people's mothers, like
Still
mine.
hot. Yep.
But we do also have Antares and Ganner going to save Borvin. And this incident between the Galactic Alliance and the Imperials, like,
I feel like
it
they
seems
figured
like
it
it
out
can come
though.
back from that.
No, I think they figured it out.
Well, eventually maybe, but this is a real faux pas, pulling a knife on the ambassador on the other side of the table and slicing his arm.
Yeah, but it was the Imperial ship which fired, right? And they knew it wasn't them. So like I don't know, I feel like his reaction is justified.
Well, it's very rare that you'll have the diplomats armed and slicing people with a letter opener. It looks like his sleeve is bleeding too. Like, it
Yeah,
doesn't
oh
look
yeah,
like
he
the
gets
cut gets
the
to his arm. It's just the sleeve is bleeding.
yeah, sentient Yuuzhan Vong t-shirt technology.
Hmm.
Mm, funny.
Morrigan leaves her family because she's got her double life as the Imperial. Having a kid was never part of the plan, and it isn't now. So she's just abandoning him.
Yeah.
But
She just wanted
she's
to bang
struggling with it.
bang the dude from Watchmen and have it at that.
I feel like looking at their faces, there's another potential age
Yeah.
unsettlingness going on here.
You'd think so, but he looks the exact same when he dies too, and that's like
Uh,
yeah. Dude just looks old.
maybe like Nat was born that age as well.
Yeah.
Okay, I won't accuse Cole of anything untoward right now.
Yeah.
But then, okay, so between the Yuzon Vong cover and this Cade cover,
Yeah, something goes down. Something terrible happens.
what which one's worse?
The you know, initially I was going to say the Yuuzhan Vong one because the face is worse, but
Mhm.
like him just fucking like he looks like him like Sims 2 gun mod there is like basically what I see. Like him with the shotgun and like his little fingies, like it's really bad.
Mm-hmm. And then
So I don't know.
I think they realized it was really bad because they stop. Like they go back to either the drawn style or the kind of like darker, somber
I
style.
was around in 2006. I don't think this ever would have looked good.
No, it looks
Like we didn't think Reboot looked good.
no,
And that
God
was
no.
the 90s.
Yeah, it
And this
was
it's
no.
just so weird. Like I will say, so moving past the cover, I do really like the Ossus art.
Mm-hmm.
Um, it reminds me. Have you ever been to like Mexico,
I
where
haven't
they
been to
do like?
Mexico, but I know the temple aesthetic.
If, that's not what I was referring to. Funny enough, just like anytime you like, not even necessarily just Mexico. Like you'll see these people on like tourist areas who do like the really quick paintings,
Okay, yeah,
where
yeah.
it's like that's always what Ossus in this reminds me of. And there's like a few other they like I think it's issue 0. They have more of the weird kind of digital art, and there is one of Coruscant and Ossus, and it also reminds me of that.
Yeah.
But it's cool and alien, especially after the Yuuzhan Vong stuff, and I like it. And I like that Kay basically went back to his high school and started doing drugs, which is cool.
Yeah, Mara Jade pops into his head when he's in the middle of a drug high. 'Cause,
Yeah,
everyone in the family's trying to talk to him except for Cole, but Mara only owns one outfit, so that's what you see her
yeah.
in.
She's like, huh, I'm gonna meet my great grandson. Let's wear my skanky Imperial hand uniform.
Well, Anakin shows up wearing his Imperial Vader uniform because he's trying to tell him that the dark side is epic. You don't know how cool power is, man.
Sure,
Great.
he knows. Yeah, I like the Anakin one. I think it was pretty creepy. I liked Mara too. It was nice to see her.
Do you think? Well, Anakin obviously isn't Anakin. Do you think Mara was Mara?
I don't know because like he's hallucinated several times. Like earlier it was Luke, and so yeah, I don't know. But I mean, it could be that like even Vader, it could have been Anakin giving a message of like warning.
And like, I feel like it doesn't fit as much with the whole um, hate is high to block the Force out. So
Yeah,
I don't know that either of them are really the Force. I think they're
yeah.
just the drugs, the Force of drugs.
I do think it would have been funny if in Ahsoka uh when she sees Anakin, she would have said, "Crack this destiny sludge," instead of going along with the vision. Just crack this destiny sludge. I feel like is a really compelling statement.
Some, I mean, speaking of Ahsoka, I feel like we see Muntu Cordro in this, right? Like right after, where I guess that's issue 13, where the Sith, is it Darth Cruel or something? King Cruel, uh, goes to like tell this clan chieftain, uh, you should lead the Muntu Cordrians for the Sith.
Mm.
And Dave Filoni, if he ever sees this comic, we're getting Muntu Cordrians in Ahsoka because they're born as wolves and then they go into little metamorphosis pods and then they become the adults. So like the
I feel like
dog
you'd
that
have
gets
the
killed
reverse
there,
version of that.
that is that's their son. That's a kid. And they just kill him. They're not just talking about the dog as their kid in the way that weird people talk about our pets being our children.
Mhm.
It's literally their son.
Yeah.
They had a literal fur baby. He's dead.
Yeah, I feel like you'd want the opposite of that, where he gets to turn into the wolf, though, right?
At least it's something though. He might remake like Muntu Codrians or the Kodruji, Kodruji. He might make the
Mhm.
G Kodru that do the opposite. So
I
you have
just like
both.
how the dog's attacking him, and he's like, Jassar, no, and it's like, yeah, no, that's your kid probably,
Yeah, he dead.
but it's just like he says it like he would to a dog.
Get off the table. Stop humping
Yeah.
the chair.
Leave our Sith friend alone.
uh, what else for? I guess we're on.
Would you love like now I'm wondering like if you had a I don't know.
What?
Like how smart is the dog? Like how smart like
I
is it
feel like
still
they're
just
sentient. Like
okay.
they're
So,
fully
so like
intelligent. I think.
so it's not just a dog level intelligence.
I
It's
don't
like a
think so.
full okay.
I think they just develop that later. I think that just is how intelligent they are. They're basically dogs that are smart like humans.
Sick.
But also, thank you, Joel, for the donation earlier. We'll discuss that at the tail end of the comic
Hmm.
because I think that's a good overarching topic. Uh, yeah, we have the visions. The like fully burnt Anakin looks nothing like Anakin. I was trying to figure out who it looked like, but it's more I don't know, Dolph Lundgren.
It's not a bad call. Um yeah. Yeah, I don't know. Who does he look like? Yeah, I don't know. Kind of like Freddy Krueger maybe.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Emotional Freddy Krueger.
maybe it's a trace of Freddy Krueger.
Yeah.
But we have Kakruk finding him, uh, and they all get together. So Wolf Seizen's there, Shido Vow's there, because again, you just take the name of another Twi'lek,
Oh, yeah,
another
that's
famous
what
Twi'lek,
yeah.
Kakruk.
That's what I was thinking, Shadow Shy. I know it's different. I just yeah.
Well, it's Shadow Shy plus Mission Vow, and then you have Shadow Vow, and Wolf is an animal. Uh, Sazin is unique, I guess. But it's Cade is all upset, like, how did everyone find me? And the answer is literally just, you were one
Bro,
jump away from where we last knew you were.
you're freebasing in your high school gymnasium. Like you're not hard to find.
Yeah. I don't know why it's taking everyone else all this torture to find him. He literally keeps going back to the Ossus Temple.
Plus, let me just say this. He looks like he fucking stinks.
Yeah, that's if someone asked me to describe Cade Skywalker, the
Stinky.
that would be like imagine Luke Skywalker but smelly.
Rank. Because he's like he's doing for one, like he's got this big ass overcoat. He's got
Yes.
like the high school drug dealer
Yeah,
overcoat
everyone
on.
knows this guy. I'm related to like many of
Yeah.
this guy.
And like I know this doesn't actually impact anyone's like stink, but his goatee, like you know he stinks.
Yes.
And he's always wearing that leather, that thick leather, doing activities, drugs, like just sweating. He's just his hair always looks fucking disgusting. Like you know that this guy smells like dog shit.
Like, even with all the slurs against the Rin in NJO, or like Chewbacca, like people commenting that he must smell bad sometimes, there's never been a Star Wars character where I thought like, I probably wouldn't want to be in a room near that guy because they're smelly. But like with Cade, you just the first time I saw him, I was like, huh, this guy
Wow. Yeah.
smells.
Yeah. This guy, you know he's crushing darts too, like nonstop.
Yeah. Well, we see
Well,
the
not
death
just
sticks
death sticks.
around
Like he
him.
does death sticks.
Yeah. Well, you're not.
Then he wants to get fucked up, but he smokes darts for sure too.
There's no one who fucking would be doing death sticks and they're like, oh, you want a dart? And they're like, no, that's not good for you, man.
Oh no, I only do darts when I'm on death sticks. Sorry.
But we do get a look back at Dry Sin and Delilah Blue. Uh, they're still with Rav. They get ratted out. So
Hmm.
I don't know why they go back to him, but the Imperials are there, and we get a bit of a showdown. But they're going to be interrogated probably. They're still using the same probe droid model as interrogator droid model as Empire Strikes Back, which is just an updated version of Goto.
Hmm. Yeah, it's not changed in like 5,000 years almost.
Yeah.
Well, 4,000 at least.
And we get some nice Jedi talk from Wolf and Cade. Meanwhile, Kakruk and Shadow are talking about it, and Shadow's like, "Yeah,
Rook just chilling.
why are we fucking with this
He's just in
guy?"
like a chair. Yeah.
If it was anyone else, like he's using the dark side all the time. Maybe it's
Like
bad that
I've
we let
seen him.
Skywalkers do whatever they want for generations, and there's never been a generation where one of them doesn't turn into an evil Sith Lord. So maybe
Yeah,
we shouldn't do this with.
like like the Jedi this time were killed because of a Skywalker ancestor. He's got the last name Fell, but like it's kind of his fault.
They don't know. They just don't count anymore. When it's
Wow.
matrilineal, it doesn't count anymore.
Yeah. Wild.
Jaina's kids? No, not Skywalkers. Leia's kids?
Um,
Not Skywalkers. Luke's kids? All Skywalkers.
I feel like, yeah. He must have had another one because no way it was Ben. I saw Ben's game. It was weak.
Another one with who? Who was Luke's new wife after?
Whoever.
Whoever?
Yeah. Maybe does Akana die? Maybe her.
I think
I feel like
Jason.
she's killed by Abeloth, but
Yeah, doesn't her body get schlooped as
yeah,
well? Yeah, she's dead.
damn.
Dies in Vortex. Captured by Abeloth. When the last. When the last section of your Wikipedia page is called "Captured by Abeloth,"
Yeah, not looking
it's
good.
been real.
Yeah, I remember that scene. That was actually I found that quite memorable because she like takes over. She takes over her body. Abeloth does it to a lot of people.
Well, it seemed like the biggest connective tissue for them was people who were romantic partners of Luke.
Hmm.
Because it happens to Callista, happens to Akana, happens to
Happens
Leia.
to happens to what's her name on Bakura. She dies too.
She was already dead though,
Yeah, that's
not
true.
because of Apple. You can't blame Abeloth for that.
Yeah,
You can't
that's
commission
true.
fan art of that one, Justin. Anything else with the
Well, you
duel?
think my fan art has to comply with strict?
Yes, because it's been taken as canon by everyone.
That's true.
It shows up everywhere.
That's true.
All right, so we have
No, they all pay me every time they use it.
hello Kazoo. We get
I
into
bring them up.
I'm gonna pick him up. Hold on. You want to be on the podcast, buddy? Puppy pickup.
So is he just free roaming now?
A little bit more, but he's since I'm upstairs, he's not the same as letting him downstairs. This room is fairly roofed for
He's trying to
puppies.
bite your ear.
He loves ears. He also wants the headphone. Good boy. There you go. Get some sniffs in.
Oh yeah, good.
Get some sniffs in the podcast. That's the best podcast audio. Just click that right up.
You know, I never like I always hated ASMR, but those doggy sniffs and the licking sound were
Okay, I'm gonna take my
kind of
headphones out so he doesn't
relaxing.
eat them. But yeah, so we have the Vong being like, oh, the savior Skywalkers, and Crook's like, no, there's other Jedi. Like, no, just the
Like,
Skywalkers.
have you smelled this guy?
No, this guy.
He looks like he smells nice.
They're have you ever given your dogs collagen sticks? It's like rawhide, but a bit more digestible, so it doesn't.
No, no.
They they're softer, especially for puppies, so that's why we started with it. They don't like break off parts of it and choke on them as easily, but they smell so bad. So I started calling them stinky sticks and asking him if he wants a stink.
Have you given him peanut butter yet? It's so fucking
He's
funny.
had some peanut butter. I don't know if he likes peanut butter because it's he doesn't seem to enjoy it being stuck to his mouth afterwards. He seems to be uncomfortable with it. So he's been happier with like yogurt and applesauce.
Anytime I have peanut butter, like I'm making a sandwich and Murphy's up there, I give him a little thing, and he just like, it's so fucking funny. He loves it.
I need to try it again now that he's a bit older. But he's so much bigger now than when I
Yeah, he's like 3 times the size.
like he's only 11 and a half pounds right now, but he was 4.5 when we got him, and he's so much bigger.
Yeah,
But
he's
yeah,
been
so we have we have the Vong who are apparently just camping out on Ossus.
Yeah, they're
Uh,
kind of chill.
we already talked about them using their tech, but it looks like we had the Zonama Seacot shot. I'm not sure if that was Ossus or Zonama Seacot, where they've got
Mm.
like the flying cephalopod behind them doing
Oh
the. I
yeah,
guess that's the Ossus project.
yeah. I
Oh,
assume that was
no.
Ossus. Yeah,
Dude, can you not bite me?
yeah. Just like a chill octopus there, isn't there? Couple chill octopuses pods.
Like, I don't know what that deal is.
I will say that panel before where she's comforting the guy with the Vong, um, like spines.
Hmm.
I've never seen like a compassionate Vong like that before.
She's just thinking of doing unspeakable things to him, other than what she's already done.
I thought you were gonna say she's the first bangable Yuuzhan Vong in the series, and I was gonna agree. But is that like that thing behind her? Is that a sentient tree or something?
I think that's another one of the squids, maybe.
Why is it so big?
No. Maybe it is a tree, because that's not quite the same as a squid.
Creepy. Yeah, no, I'm back to thinking genocide the Vong. They're
Yeah.
gonna make creepy things.
But yeah, we get more flashbacks to Cole. We also get a bit of a flashback to Cade having to go down to the planet, but I think we already had that
One
after
second. Just keep
Cole
talking. I
died.
hate the baby awoke. Just keep talking.
So we have a bit more with Rav there, or like we get the flashback to when Rav had originally found Cade. So we've we've kind of filled in a lot of the backstory that we hadn't had. But Luke pops up in the middle of his in the middle of Cade's meditation because he's finally accepting his Jedi-ness and the Jedi training. He's finishing his Jedi training with Sazin. Uh, and Luke's like, "Hey, that medic he got in trouble. That's your fault. You should save him." And then he reveals the return of a major character. Justin, are you
Hmm.
aware of the major character reveal at the end of issue 12?
Um, no, I'm
I'm gonna
not.
close the door. The one who
Oh, Darth
returns?
Crate. Oh, Luke.
R2.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I forgot that was in that issue. Yeah, R2 is I completely forgot that R2 was in this. Or I don't even know if I knew R2 was in this, but he is. He's just been like behind a tree just vibing.
He was chilling on Ossus.
Yeah.
Does C3PO show up in?
I have
Is
no
he is he
idea.
with Alana or not Alana? With yeah, on Hapes?
He might
I might
be.
be making that up. Hold
That
on.
sounds like I feel like C3PO would enjoy Hapes because there's a lot of protocol.
Yeah, but there's also a lot of poisoning. He doesn't like the poisoning so much.
That's true.
The death of C3PO
Excuse me?
many years later. Oh no. Tales Comics. They killed him.
I don't care. It's not real to me, damn it.
Okay. Uh C3PO finishing recorded from Jagged Fell, blah blah blah. Okay, that's it. That's the last part on his Wikipedia page there. So I don't think he shows up in Legacy. Very sad. But yeah, so while you were gone, I just mentioned the flashback scene, the the fact that Cade was starting his Jedi training again, and then the Luke telling
Which
him like get to
I feel
Coruscant.
like he's had this kind of internal like I feel like he was kind of on board with training like one issue ago, and then he's already like bitching and moaning, and then he's kind of on board
That's kind of
again.
just who he is, though. That's
Yeah,
he's
he's
never
just
going to change.
stinky, indecisive, unpleasant. Like nothing. Like I look up to Luke. I'm like, yeah, I want to be like Luke. Like he's cool. He's a badass. he fights temptation and he's got cool outfits. Who read this and was like, yeah, I want to be Cade. Like I know, there's guys like Cades in my neighborhood. Like they stand on corners and they stink, and they're probably texting minors or Snapchatting minors, and yeah,
Yeah. Well, don't be like Cade, kids.
yeah.
It's a cautionary tale.
Like of any
But he's
character
been through a lot.
going to high school parties, like Cade is the high school party guy.
Yeah.
He probably wears a stinky big leather jacket too.
Well, we're gonna get plenty more of Cade going through life with the rest of his stinky leather jackets in future issues. We already talked about issue 3 or 13 a bit. It's
Yeah,
not
there's not much
really
there.
tying
Yeah,
into the main character stories. We just kind of get a bit of background on what's going on in the Empire or around the Empire.
yeah.
But we do have two questions from Joel. So thank you, Joel, for the donations, uh, which we'll talk about here at the end of the podcast. Asking, how do you feel about Legacy being the tail end story of the Legends timeline in terms of the state of the galaxy? Also, I love Reboot. Great show. I
I
I was
don't
never
I
pro
don't
Reboot. Can I just, is it controversial for me to say that? I feel like I've said it before, so maybe it's not
I don't
controversial.
necessarily disagree. Reboot's weird. But Legacy is weird too. I don't really see Legacy as part of the same timeline, if I'm being honest.
I've never seen it as separate, but I've never really loved it. And part of that is just my own, like, our well documented uh lukewarm feelings on comics generally.
Yeah.
But like I like that it tries to pick off some of the elements of NJO a bit more than even like Fate of the Jedi did or Dark Nest. But like there's so much that is just a bit too far on the 2006 edginess side for me. Like maybe I would have felt differently about it if I had read it immediately when it came out, when I was
Mhm.
younger and when it was new. Uh, but like that part of the aesthetic doesn't appeal to me the same way, and I'm not a fan of like the fell empire of it all. Uh,
Yeah.
so mm,
Yeah.
they
It's
like
kind of tough.
it's
I don't like Cade, so I don't like.
yeah, that's the biggest thing
I
probably.
I really don't like Cole either.
Yeah,
Um, so I don't love them being the last Skywalker. Well, I guess for now anyway, last Skywalkers. But
it's just it's a vision of masculinity that I don't relate to in the new Skywalkers, whereas like Anakin,
like,
Jason, Luke, much more relatable for me.
yeah, Luke wearing his Chanel boots in Return of the Jedi.
Nothing wrong with that.
No.
But yeah, like the state of the galaxy, especially being left where it was, even if it had been allowed to finish out a bit more, I feel like
Yeah.
I've maybe I'll change my mind as we get a little bit
Yeah.
further
We're
through. But it's
only
yeah,
we're only 13 issues in out of many.
because I've only ever read individual issues picking through for specific things before. Like I've skimmed over most of it. I've read specific issues, but I've never actually like read through Legacy because like before I was doing lore stuff, comics just weren't my medium. So when it was just like purely going through for my own enjoyment, it was never like comics weren't the things that I would gravitate to. So maybe my opinion will change.
Well,
Yeah.
comics were hard because
Expensive.
it's very expensive. So no, I'm right there with you.
Yeah, like back in the day, it was you couldn't find them for the totally legal. Like you couldn't. Well, obviously, I'm referring to like going on like the Google Play Store and
Yeah.
searching for the comics and then buying them and reading them all. Like you had to get them from the bookstore when they came out, and
Mhm.
or like there
Yeah,
were
it was
some of
even
the
hard to
online
get both.
publications, but it's still expensive,
Yeah.
and you had to
Yeah.
know
Like
about that. I
like
didn't.
the new Marvel's got their new like reading service. It's a lot easier now. Even
Yeah.
if you are fully above board, it's a lot easier and
Hmm.
more reasonable. Even though like comics were only like a comic, like I mean look at the cover of one of the issues. They're like $2, 2.99. So it's probably like $5 now.
Yeah.
Uh and that's US, but yeah. You still got to go every week, which these came out in 2006, so I was 14, so yeah.
The second question there that's related is thoughts on the idea that Legacy should be the template for a sequel or a sequel to the sequel trilogy. So I feel like a lot of the reasons that it doesn't make a great conclusion for me, I kind of apply to a sequel to the sequels. Like I don't think we want the Jedi to die again. Like
No,
I don't want
at
Rey's
least not
order to
yet.
be destroyed as well.
Mhm.
Uh, whatever happens with that. Izu, can you not on my fingers? That'd be lovely. Uh, but also
Obviously,
just like the Empire coming back as the enemy yet again. I don't want to see that. Like I wouldn't have preferred it to the sequel trilogy we got, and I also wouldn't want it as a follow up to the sequel trilogy as it exists. So
yeah,
I'm
no, I agree.
happy not adapting anything. Like if we don't get a Cade Skywalker in canon, I'm happier for it, honestly.
Well, if we do, he won't be a blood relative at least, unless there was more to that Force kiss on Exegol.
It is kind of interesting though that like the Force resurrection power is like explicitly dark side here that Cade is using.
Mhm.
I don't know if it's supposed to be that there's no light side equivalent to doing that, or just that he like tapped into the dark side when he was doing it, or if it's just like bringing them back from death like that is a purely selfish act,
Yeah,
which I think is an
yeah, because I guess the
interesting.
difference with Rey is like she's giving something up.
Yeah,
Like it's like where this is like it's kind of a perversion of the kind of nature, I guess.
yeah. Like Kylo died to bring her back. She was dying to.
Yeah. And then Chewbacca died, but didn't die.
He was in the other shuttle that we didn't see.
Death fake out. We've got 3 more coming.
All right, but thank you, Joel. Hopefully that answered your questions. Next week, unless there's any other legacy thoughts you have before we move off, or
Nope.
any
Nope.
Star Wars news in the last week, we didn't actually talk about any
Nope.
news yet.
No, I don't think so.
I don't think there's any
No news
news.
is no news is not good or bad news.
Well, there is the news that Disney Plus has significantly dropped in subscribers in the last little while, and like I'm almost one of them. If I were to cancel anything, it would be Disney Plus. But when my nephews want to watch stuff, Disney Plus is their go-to. So
Mm,
like there's still a lot of appeal for the kids. I think there's just nothing new that really comes out compared to other platforms. So it's
mhm.
not the one I'd keep if I had to pick one.
Yeah, and, like, the other thing people have to understand is, like, you gotta look at, like, it's not as simple as they lost so many subscribers because they increased their prices.
Yeah,
So, like, they may still be making more money overall. Like, that's the big thing for Netflix especially. Netflix will lose, like, 500,000 subscribers. They've got such a massive base, but they're also making an extra, like, $3 off of each subscriber. So,
yeah,
like, they know they're going to lose it. They've done the math. It still works out.
yeah.
Um, yeah.
And like I think a lot of them know that when a show that they want to see comes back, people will pick it back up. Like if I cancel Disney Plus, if another Star Wars show comes on, I'm gonna buy it again.
Mhm. Yeah.
And I know there's ways to follow up that sentence, but that's not what we talk about on this podcast.
Yeah, because when that came out, I said Disney Plus lost 700,000 subscribers in Q1 2025. And I said, including me, it's my job, and I torrent the shows LMAO. And then I said, in Minecraft. So, just a joke.
Yeah.
Bob. Bob, come on. Bob. Bob,
What are
no.
they gonna do? Take us off the early screener list?
Yeah. Fuck you, Bob. Loser.
Right. Well, that's gonna do it for Legacy for this week. Next week is Lost Stars. And
Yes.
then we'll be figuring stuff out from there. We'll be doing Reign of the
I'm,
Empire like a week or two after it's out, so everyone has a chance to read it.
yeah.
Uh,
Yeah.
so those are probably the next two books, with legacy stuff thrown in between. Maybe another book in the middle there too. See.
Mhm. Yeah.
Any final
Sorry,
messages
everybody.
for everyone?
Nope. Piss off. I'm just kidding. Thanks for watching and listening.
Bye, everyone.